Okay, welcome back. So as I was saying, the certain things that the circular flow diagrams omits is the government. Okay, let me get my pen on here. The government, the financial system, and the foreign sector, imports and exports. Okay, as you're hearing in this election season, or in all election seasons, the government is a huge determinant of any society in terms of how much money they have, in terms of job creation, things like that. The financial system is much more open to the invisible hand and things of that nature. In the foreign sector, there's always a lot of interest and passion based on what is happening in other countries and how it affects the United States. Moving on. What we are going to be looking at thoroughly and repeatedly and over again is GDP. You've already heard me use the phrase in class a little bit. GDP stands for Gross Domestic Product. And I really like what Dr. Mankiw does here is he takes the definition and he breaks it down. So the definition of gross domestic product is the market value of all final goods and services produced within a country in a given period of time. Okay, so he starts by saying it's the market value. So here's the definition here. Okay, we have to look at them in the same units and that we leave out things that don't have a market value. Okay, housework you do for yourself is not included in GDP. Now, should you pay someone to clean your house and it gets reported in your tax return and in their tax return, then that would be part of GDP. Okay, but if you just do it for yourself, it's not in GDP. So that is the market value. We have of all final goods and services. Okay, this is a very tricky concept, and I'll give you a moment to read the definitions. Okay, we're looking at two things, final goods and intermediate goods. Okay, so if I am making a car stereo, okay, let's suppose I make car stereos. Car stereos. I'm not that good with this stylus. Okay, if I am making one, it's a perfect E. If I am making one for somebody to just buy the car stereo to put in their own car, that is a final good. Okay. However, the overwhelming majority of car stereos are not sold as final goods. They are sold to a car company, and they're intermediate goods. Okay. So the car company, Honda, Subaru, Kia, Mercedes-Benz, whomever, they buy thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of car stereos a year, and they put them into their car. Now, they don't charge a separate fee for it, okay? They keep the same fee, but then they have one final price for their car, and that car stereo is included within the car. So the car would be a final good, but the car stereo that went into that car would be an intermediate good and therefore not counted in GDP. Next slide. Okay, and it's looking at both goods and services. Okay, it's always easy to count goods. It's not as easy to count services. Okay, cell phone service. Okay, you pay to have reception on your cell phone. Okay, you can't see it, you can't touch it, but it's there, and you know when it's not there. Okay, you can all pay to go see Lady Gaga. Okay, ooh la, I am Gaga, I am Gaga. Okay, it goes something like that. Okay, you pay to have dry cleaning. Okay, you also can pay for a service called education, which is happening right now. I hope you feel like you're getting your money's worth. Lots of dots. Oh, the eye is exploding. Okay, next slide. And there are things that are produced, okay? It's what's currently produced, not what's produced in the past. And this will get very tricky in a few moments. But if I make a computer, okay, so I'm Samsung, and I make laptops. Okay, if I make 2 laptops, okay, one laptop is here, and here's all the buttons, here's the screen, and another laptop here, okay, this is a little bit of a wider screen, okay, here are all the buttons, here's the screen, and here's the Angry Bird, here's the other Angry Bird, boom, boom, okay, this one, both of these are made in October of 2012. Okay, this one gets sold immediately, okay, to a consumer. Okay, in October 2012. This one goes to a store, Shopko, and sits until it gets sold to a consumer in February of 2013. I'll give you a couple seconds, but which year do you think computer number 1 and computer number 2 gets counted into GDP? Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 do 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 bong bong. Okay, so it was a trick question. They would both, the correct answer is 2012. It is when they are produced. Even though this one is not sold, laptop number 2 is not sold until 2013. Okay, it is counted in GDP of 2012. And that gets counted as inventory. So that is a trick question. You will probably see it on the AP. Okay, next slide here. Oh, here we go. Okay, and it's the market value of all finals, goods, and services produced within a country. Okay, within their borders. Okay. It happens within a country. Okay. So if there is somebody from the Ukraine, okay, crazy country known as the Ukraine, if they're working in New York City, it's counted as GDP. If you take a New Yorker and you send them to Ukraine to work, it is not counted as GDP. Okay? So it's got to be produced within a country's borders. Next. And then usually a given period of time. Okay? We're always looking at GDP in terms of year or in a quarter, 3 months. And so I'm going to take a pause there. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing this definition of gross domestic product. I'll be back in a moment.